White Rock to Erie to Temporary. Okay, I could do that, yes. So Ontario Women's Resource Society is essentially a women's anti-violence organization. It's been around since 1983. We actually started out in South Surrey, White Rock. We opened a transition house out there in 1987 for women and children fleeing violence. We now manage about, our own operator manage about 2,700 units of non-market housing across the Lower Mainland. So that includes our own stuff as well as stuff we manage for other non-profit societies. Mostly seniors housing, Lions, Kiwanis, Optimus kind of senior housing. We still, our primary focus remains a women's anti-violence organization. We are identified by 3 basic principles. We're feminist identified, we operate within an anti-oppression framework, and we utilize harm reduction principles in our work. So we work mostly with women in their co-ed buildings with men who are extremely marginalized. So many are struggling with substance use, struggling with mental and spiritual wellness, chronic homelessness, poverty obviously. And we have projects in quite a few on the downtown east side, but also in Surrey, White Rock, Burnaby, and we've got a new one under development in Richmond. And our biggest project right now is a 198 unit development at 41 East Hastings, which will be mixed income housing. So there'll be 52 units housing that will rent at shelter rates, 68 at what are called housing income limit rates. So they'll be under market, and 78 at market rental. And it's that mix of incomes that helps it kind of all hang together financially, although quite frankly it hangs by the skin of its teeth, but it does work. And we're doing that in partnership with a local developer, Cressy, who's donating their construction management fees. So they're donating about $1 million to the project.
What's the name?
The name of that building?
No, the name of the project.
Cressy is the developer. We're called Atira. Yeah.
Right.
So this is our container housing project. I was starting to say it's built entirely, or I did say actually, but I'm saying again. It's built entirely out of recycled or upcycled shipping containers. There's 12 of them here. We literally bought the containers across the street at the port. We had to ship them on a flatbed truck out to Richmond where they were modified. So we cut out the fronts and backs of these containers where you see the curtain wall glazing. Obviously had to cut out the holes for the doors. The one at the top came with a window. Those 2 at the top are actually donated by BC Hydro. They did a container housing demonstration project during the Olympics. And we secured those, which is kind of the impetus for this whole project. We secured them when they had to move it off of Thurlow Street. We also built the stairs out in Richmond, and we cut in holes in the floors for plumbing and mechanical stacks. And just in terms of construction methodology, we had the foundations ready and waiting when the containers were finished being modified. They were trucked back down. Because we're between 2 Heritage B buildings, which is a bit of a site constraint, we had to crane them onto the foundation. So they were craned over this building, dropped onto the foundations, and they basically were spot welded because these things are built to stack to 7 at sea, or 8 maybe it is, so they have keys in them that secures them to each other. As you can see, they're 3 stories high. This is the first multi-unit container building in North America, and we knew that we were going to have a few struggles with the building department in the city of Vancouver, and wanted to do something as simple as possible just so we could get this first project through, which is why we stayed 3 stories, no elevator. They did have to be structurally reinforced because obviously when we cut the holes in them, we messed with the structural integrity of the containers. They are built from high-grade Corten steel, which means they will likely be the one building that's standing after the great earthquake hits in 200 or 800 years or whenever it's coming. They'll be here with the cockroaches. So they're cross-braced in size. They're called high cubes, which means that they have quite high ceilings inside, which is really important because these are all studio units and they're small. They're about 290 square feet net living area. We did them side by side like this, just a design element. We wanted to have some, I'm not an architect, but whatever the word is, but some back and forth or whatever, so pseudo bay windows at the front, and it also creates 2 distinct living spaces inside. And we also put demising walls between the containers. We didn't want 8 by 40, which is what the container comes in. We didn't think that would be very livable, so we put a demising wall and cut them in half. So these are each of these is 1 unit across the front, so they're 16 by 20 basically. And the reason they're a bit smaller net living areas, they were insulated and that chewed up some of the living area inside. They do meet or exceed code in every way. The two places they exceed code are insulation and sound transference. They are hooked up to municipal services like any other building, and they're not intended to be temporary, which is a question that I get asked all the time. They are actually here to stay. The cost of moving them would be quite prohibitive because you have to consider the cost of municipal services and moving and all of that stuff as well. Like they're hooked up. This is a building for women who are older, and I won't say what older is. In the downtown east side, that means different than what it means in a lot of other places. And they're working, next door we have a MODO, Housing for Young Women, and this is for young women who, most of whom have been homeless in the downtown east side for many, many, many years. So many of them since they were 12 or 13 years old. And there's an intergenerational partnership program that happens here. So the older women who live in container housing are involved in partnerships or mentorships or whatever you want to call them with the young women next door. And that mostly takes the form of a lot of community meals, but also support or self-help groups, arts groups, going out to movies. About 16 of them went to the CERT last week. So it's all kinds of activities that particularly many of the young women have never participated or had the opportunity to participate in before. Our goal with the MODO is transitional housing. It's to help young women choose a different path, and that maybe not be in the downtown side for the rest of their lives, or be in a better place. Sorry? Yeah, sorry. Emoto is the Japanese word for little sister. It's an honorific. They have a bunch of different words for young